Students, let's start with the next chapter in EVS Part 2. The name of the chapter is Historic Period. We have seen in Lesson 2 that written records are available in the form of inscriptions, manuscripts, books, etc. for the historic period. In all ancient civilizations, the art of writing was developed. They used fully developed scripts. You can see that there are two different types of scripts that were used during this period. So here you can see there are two examples of script. In other words, with the rise of ancient civilizations, the new Stone Age came to an end and the historic period began. Now let's see what is culture. Humans and all other animals are dependent on their environment and nature for satisfying their needs. However, other animals do not cause any significant change in their surroundings. For example, bear lives in caves and monkeys live on trees. But we humans build houses. It means that we humans change the natural character of our surroundings to some extent. Humans do not eat their food in its natural form as other animals do. We humans roast or cook the food, or in other words, they process foodstuffs before eating them. They process many substances in a similar manner. So we use our environment not only for a house or for cooking food, but for many other purposes. They work on stone, that means we humans, they work on stone, metal, etc. to make tools and various objects. As we can see in the picture, they are making different kinds of tools. Then we also make pots, bricks and many other things from clay. We also obtain yarn from cotton and weave cloth from the yarn. In short, according to their needs, they change the form of materials available in nature. They need skills to do this. So, any kind of work to do, you need different kinds of skills in that. They need to think and plan before they shape an object. Then they have to put in efforts to actually shape it. You can't just do it like that only. You need to think and make the shape of an object. The tradition of thought, skills and efforts gave rise to various arts. Every generation handed over the knowledge of the artistic skills and traditions to the next generation. With this exchange of thoughts and ideas, language was enriched. So, this artistic skills went on from one generation to another. The knowledge of various arts, skills, and traditions inherited from generation to generation, and the way of life founded on that knowledge is what we called as culture. Okay, let's move to the next point, that is ancient civilizations in river valleys. Cultures which flourished in the New Stone Age were based on an agricultural way of life. Now you know that the people who were living in villages, their life was based on agriculture. For that, they needed fertile soil and constant water supply are essential for growing good crops. Naturally, people in the New Stone Age established their village settlements on the banks of various rivers. As you can see in the picture, the people started staying close to the rivers so that they get sufficient water. The New Stone Age culture flourished along the river banks. In the course of time, New Stone Age cultures gave rise to early civilizations. Increase in production due to various skills, the use of the wheel, as we seen in the previous chapter, they started using wheel. Flourishing trade, use of well-developed scripts, etc. were the major factors responsible for the rise of the early civilizations. These civilizations came into existence in roughly the same period, that is around 3000 BC, in 4 regions of the world. So these civilizations came to be developed in the 4 regions. We'll see what are the regions. They are Mesopotamia and Egypt, the Indian subcontinent and China. Okay, so these were the 4 regions. The civilization in these 4 regions developed in river valleys. Hence, they are known as the riverine civilizations. Okay, these 4 are called as the riverine civilization. So we learn in detail about them, okay, about the ancient riverine civilization. The first one is Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia is the name of a region and not of any particular country. It means the land between 2 rivers. You can see in the slide, there are 2 rivers. Ancient Mesopotamia was the land between the 2 rivers, Tigris and Euphrates. These were the 2 rivers. These 2 rivers mainly flow through Turkey, Syria and Iraq. Ancient Mesopotamia had great cities like Uruk, Nippur, etc. So these were all the cities in ancient Mesopotamia. These cities were home to very prosperous cultures. Now we'll see to the second one, that is Egypt. The river Nile flows through the eastern part of the Sahara Desert in the north of Africa. One of the ancient civilization flourished along its bank. It is known as the Egyptian civilization. So you will be able to see the river Nile in the map which is given on page number 46. Okay. Now this river Nile gets flooded every year. The land along her banks have become very fertile because of the flood deposits. So this river keeps on getting flooded every year. So the land, the soil has become very soft. Also, ancient Egyptians used to build small embankments on the river to store the flood water. That means small walls to store the water. After the soil in the flood water settled to the bottom, the water was used for irrigation. So they used to store that water later to use it for irrigation, to water the crops. Next we learn about China. The ancient civilization of China developed and flourished in the valley of the Honghe River. According to the Chinese tradition, a king named Hungary introduced agriculture, animal husbandry, wheel carts, and chariots. So there was a king named Hungary. You can see there is a picture of his in the slide. He introduced agriculture, animal husbandry, that means taking care of animal. Then he also introduced chariots, okay, in China. Then also boats and clothing also was introduced in China. Chinese people believed that his queen invented the technique of silk production and silk dyeing. Liu Hong, Beijing, and Chang and were among the important cities of ancient China. So these were the three important cities in China: Liu Hong, Beijing, and Chang. Okay, they were the important cities in China. So this is all about the ancient riverine civilization in China. We'll move to the next. The next is Harappa. That is the fourth ancient riverine civilization. This is one of the earliest civilization on the Indian subcontinent. It is known as the Harappan civilization. It flourished in the Indus Valley. Indus is the English word for the name Sindhu. Harappa in Punjab and Mohenjo-daro in Sindh are the two sides of Harappan civilization to be discovered first. Now they are in Pakistan, that is Lothal and Dholavira in Gujarat and Kalibangan in Rajasthan are among the famous sites of Harappan civilization in India. So this civilization, that is the Harappan civilization, was also called as the Indus Valley civilization because of the river Indus. Cities of this civilization are well known for their systematic town planning. Now you can see in the slides, they used to do their planning very well. The houses that were built very well. The houses were built in blocks created by parallel roads that crossed each other at right angles. Huge granary and spacious houses were the special features of these cities. So they had very huge houses, as you can see in the slide, and they were spacious houses. These were the special features of the Harappan civilization. There were bathrooms and latrines in every house and a covered drainage system which indicates a concern for public hygiene. So during that time also they were concerned about public hygiene, how to keep their houses clean, how to keep the surroundings clean. They were carefully constructed private and public wells. You can see there's a picture, there's a small circle. They also had wells for water. The cities were divided into 2 to 4 parts, each with a separate fortification. So fortification means each had a separate wall. The characteristic earthen pots of the Harappans are well baked. Now you can see in the picture they also used to make pots, and these pots were well baked. They were red in color and with beautiful designs. Now you can see on the pot they also have designs like the people leaves and fish scales. When tapped, these pots produced a metallic sound. So when you tap on that pot, they also used to produce a sound. The Harappan craftsmen were highly skilled in making bronze objects and beads from semi-precious stones of various colors. So these people used to even like to wear ornaments. Okay, you can see the picture of the ornaments. These Harappan people used to even like to wear different kinds of ornaments made of bronze or beads. These things were in great demand in Mesopotamia. The names of Harappan gods and goddesses are not yet known. However, we know with the help of the Harappan seals and clay figurines that they worshipped Pashupati. You can see the picture of the clay figurines. So these people, they used to not know the name of the gods or the goddesses they used to worship. Okay, so they used to make clay figurines and they worship Pashupati, lord of all living animals and a mother goddess. The next point we learn is about sports and entertainment. Now, at that time, there were a variety of sports and means of entertainment in the ancient civilization. From that, hunting and wrestling were the important ones. You can see in the slide, hunting and wrestling were the important ones in sports and entertainment. Games played with the help of games board and gamesmen were also popular at that time. In ancient Egypt, people played a game that was similar to chess. Now how we play chess, that way there was a game in the ancient civilization also similar to chess. This game was played with a game board and gamesmen. It was known as Senat. In ancient China also, there were many games played with boards and gamesmen. Similar games were popular in Mesopotamia and Harappan civilization too. Many toys are also found in the excavation of Harappan sites. There were many toys also at that time. What were the toys? They included wrills, whistles, rattles, bullock carts, animals and birds on wheels, etc. Okay, so these were all the different types of toys during the Harappan civilization. Then music and dance were also very important in the early civilization. They were an essential part of celebrating a festival. So at that time also there was music and dance. They were an important part in celebrating any kind of festivals. Ancient people used many types of musical instruments. In Mesopotamia, a stringed instrument known as balak was very popular. So during this early civilization, there was this musical instrument called as balak, which was very popular. Besides instruments like cymbals, rattles, flutes, drums, you can see all these musical instruments in the slide, etc. These were also played during the early civilization. The Egyptian kings were known as pharaohs. On the occasion of certain festivals, the pharaoh himself used to participate in the celebrations and dance. Okay, so there was a king called pharaoh. They also used to dance in any kind of celebration which were there. The bronze image of a dancer, you can see the third picture, that's a bronze image of a dancer was found in the excavation at Mohenjo-daro. Is evident that dance was important in the Harappan civilization as well. We see now also there is dance. So during the early civilization also dance was important at that time. Till now, we have learnt in brief about the history of human civilization from the Stone Age to the early civilizations. Next year, we shall study in detail the Harappan civilization that developed in the Indian subcontinent. We shall also study the ancient history of India. The next is your homework. The first question is dash and all other dash are dependent on their environment. Next, which were the ancient cities in Mesopotamia? Third, what objects were the Harappan craftsmen skilled at making? So here we end with our lesson. We will learn the next lesson in the next period. Thank you for listening, children. Goodbye. Take care.